Yes, microphone check 1 2 1 2. You got MC Zuma Dogg with a very special announcement. We got a very special guest on the phone, Council Member Dennis Zine, and we're here to discuss a new motion by Zine Rosendahl. We got a lot of people in the city making over $200,000, and if they're getting high performance pay, I believe Council Member Zine wants high performance reviews. Can you talk a little bit about it, Council Member?
Yeah, sure it can. Recently, there were 3% cost of living increases given to a number of city employees, including some of the employees that are in the $300,000 range, not the $200,000, but the $300,000 range. And the 3% on $300,000 is a lot of money. Now, 3% on $50,000 obviously isn't as much. And the concern I have is we have a disparity between the people making the seven-figure salaries versus those that are in the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range. So we need to come up with a better plan where we can compensate our employees in a fair manner, but not bankrupt the city. And facing a $400 million deficit, it's imperative that we follow the mayor's directive and tighten our belts and come up with ideas. And this is an idea I came up with to say, is it appropriate to give a 3% pay raise? Maybe it'd be appropriate to give a 1% to the high levels and the 3% to the lower level salary employees, but the 3% or the 4% or whatever percentage it is, it doesn't seem to match out with the lack of money that we have.
Now, are we talking about possible cuts of salary if people? I talked to Rosendahl earlier, and he was making it sound as though I was speaking to Rosendahl earlier today, and he was making it sound as though if you're not up to par and giving us world class service, that you can expect a performance cut. Is that part of it?
Well, we're going to review the whole package. We have a number of contracts coming up at the end of June, and I want to fairly compensate our city employees, in particular those in the public safety arena, because they're both coming up at the end of June. We need to make sure that we compensate our employees fairly and properly. But at the same time, if we're facing a $400 million deficit, we can't give money that we don't have. So this whole matter will be brought before the council. We'll have to come up with some ideas, some solutions, and hopefully we can come up with something that's fair and balanced, because currently it's a skewed system, and it's really not working for the benefit of the taxpayers as the city is running out of money.
Okay, now one thing this will outrage a lot of people, and we may as well address it now. Now, although the city council members themselves are asking for this review of salary, yours will not be included. I spoke with Rosendahl earlier, and I guess yours won't be included because you can't have control over that. Are you going to be asking for a rollback of your automatic raises? Is there any way? Because otherwise, you know that they're going to really be a little bit upset about you on that part.
Well, the voters of the City of Los Angeles a number of years ago passed an ordinance to give that salary setting to another body. We don't set our own salaries. We don't set our own benefits. That's all done by a body that establishes a judge's salaries. That panel establishes the salaries, and we fall in line with that. I made a recommendation that on the floor of the council, when we discussed this recently, that we all surrender some of the money that we get, some of the compensation to help the city and to help the $400 million deficit that we're facing. So I'm willing to give up some money, and I hope my colleagues will be willing to. We can't ask our employees to do something we're not willing to do. But we'll see as we approach the contract discussions how this works out. We know we all have bills to pay. We all have responsibilities. But at the same time, if there's no money, then how are we going to be able to adequately pay our employees for the job they do? And I will say the employees in many, many departments do a tremendous job, dedicated city employees. They want to keep their jobs. We know there's a lot of people get laid off in a lot of different industries. I'm not calling for layoffs. What I'm calling for is some belt tightening, and we need to do that when we have a $400 million deficit.
And one thing Councilmember Rosendahl told me that on behalf of the council members, when people complain that your raises aren't part of it, is Councilmember Rosendahl mentioned that, well, gee, the voters can vote you guys out of office. You're public figures. You're held accountable to the electorate, as opposed to these city officials making $200,000 and $300,000 that are faceless basically and are behind the scenes and nobody knows about, and they can't be voted out. So that's a distinction. Any comment on that?
Well, I'm calling for an analysis by the CAO, the CLA, to come up with a better formula than we have. But clearly, when I saw the 3% raises given to people in the $300,000 range, you're talking over $9,000 increase. And someone making $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000, 3% is a lot less for that particular employee. So we need to analyze this. We need to discuss this. We need to review this. The bottom line is, if we don't have the money coming in, we're not going to be able to pay our employees additional compensation for the job they do. And this is no disrespect to the employees, but when we use this formula of a 3%, which was just used last week, it doesn't seem fair where one person is going to receive a $9,000 increase in compensation, and someone may receive 1,000 or even less in a package of 3%. So that whole matter will be brought up before the council. We'll discuss it, we'll review it, and come up with some plan. But if we're calling for city employees, including ourselves, council members, to surrender some of our compensation, I'll be at the front of the line doing that. I already give about $40,000 a year of my salary to charitable organizations, and I'm willing to give more if that's what we need to do to balance the budget to keep the city moving as smoothly as possible.
Okay, excuse me, I'm going to have to cut you off there. I'm not going to allow you to sit here and campaign for mayor on my own TV show, ZumaTube.com. So thank you. Thank you so much, Councilmember Zine, and please stay with us, and I will see you in chambers because there's still many other things to complain about just because you're doing good things on this